I'm Reverend James Keller, a Presbyterian minister in the Presbyterian Church USA. I'm also part of Roy Day Lutheran Church, bilingual, bicultural, and many cultures, fairly near at the State House, and helping out whatever I can in my retirement. About the law, proposed H5093, to me, we've been talking about legitimate kinds of acts of individual people, whether they're in jail or whatever, that need to be taken care of, and you have to have penalties for them. But we're not really talking much about the hundreds of thousands of people who are working hard here from different countries, who are raising their families, who are living in terrible fear right now. I can't even imagine what it's like. I mean, I hear, by the way, about Philadelphia doing away with the May 5, what's the name?
Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo. They stopped it because they're afraid of ice coming and maybe making rain. Well, I guess that's the first thing I would say. I really think you have to think about what hundreds of thousands of people are thinking and feeling right now. And because the people who are here working and raising their families, as we said many times, will hesitate when something legitimately wrong happens to call the police or go to the hospital if they feel that their documentation is under question. Let me say a little bit about what they're here illegally. Well, what is illegal? My wife and I lived for 4 years in Mexico, and we were there at the time of NAFTA when it was formed by Canada, Mexico, and the United States. It's also when we were there, we knew many Mexicans who came up to this country, but Mexico protected before NAFTA the ownership of land that farmers would work on for generations. You could not sell it, you would only use it and then turn it over to your heirs. Mexico, the United States, and Canada did away with, I think it's the amendment number 17 in the Mexican Constitution, so that number one, they could sell their land, and number two, is huge competition from much cheaper supported corn, for example, made the Mexican farmers who were growing corn for generations. Yeah, it was almost a religious thing. They couldn't compete, so they sold their land, or maybe got it bought other ways, I don't know. And right after that, you can see a graph. Mexican immigration in the United States, 1994, shut up. Because they went to the cities, they couldn't live anymore. Is this illegal? Would a big power do this? Also, too, another thing that happened, we worked in a center for people, not only from the state, but also from Mexico and other countries. We arrived there in 1989. And to begin working there. And we were encountering immediately the horrendous massacre of 6 Jesuit priests from their beds at 6 o'clock in the morning because they were working with the poor in El Salvador. And they were dragged out of the beds, and the housekeeper and her daughter also. In 1989, just when we arrived there to begin working. And they were known in the community center we were working at because they were teachers. So this was the beginning of the continuation of the violence, which unfortunately the Salvadorian military had been trained in the United States in our Fort Benning, Georgia. So I'm saying, is this illegal to say we created violence or helped create violence? We help with other countries and the powers that be to take away your ability to make a living. You can't come here And also, you can't come here even to bend your back. This is what happened. People started no longer.
Are you going to say God damn the United States before you're done, Reverend?
So, Terry, Reverend, please continue.
So, let me do one more thing. A little bit of, maybe not levity, but it's show and tell. Two volunteers,
Well, hang on.
and, okay, no, just hold something up, I'm not.
This is show and tell is not something we do in committee, Reverend.
Well,
What do you have? Tell us what you have here, please,
what I
Reverend.
have is, my whole ministry of some 60 years has been teacher and pastor for all those years. And scripture is very important. That is a scroll that has some 40 recommendations or laws, whatever, saying how you treat the immigrant, how you treat the alien. And it goes on and on and on. So it's a nice little thing to show.
Okay, why don't you have your, why don't you join Reverend up at the podium so that people at home can see what you have. And Reverend, is this for the committee? Are you going to enter this into the written testimony for the committee after? Or are you going to leave it with us?
Well, I can't see this.
Okay, you're going to take it with us.
But here, all these authors, wouldn't it be great if science people make their own scrolls and begin changing their understanding and changing their heart? That's all.
Thank you.
That's basically what I'm saying. I'm just definitely afraid of what, terribly afraid of what's happening to law-abiding people who are supporting our country here. So we go to the legal.
Thank you, Reverend. Any questions?